well, more than we did. And I applaud them every time I get a chance to see them. And I think, but to look at their examples like all things, and I think a lot of times generations before us said the same thing about me and Grant, but I think this next generation, led by the LeBrons and Dwayne and Chris Pauls and the basketball NBA, have just taken it to another level because they're willing to speak out. And, you know, obviously, when you speak out, there's risk. But I think right now they're really ready to challenge those risks, and they're doing a nice job with it.
Yeah, you talk about some of the, you know, really being courageous from a moral standpoint. Marc, you're around a lot of these athletes too, and write about them. To be able to step out on a limb like that with some of the endorsements that are at risk, some of the contractual things that are at risk is kind of a different variable to deal with too with athletes.
I was really proud of seeing what Melo did, Carmelo Anthony, more so than all the other players, because he didn't just say something one time, he kind of made it a movement. He had a forum with USA Basketball. Anytime somebody from the media wanted to talk about it, he talked about it. He kind of started an NBA movement on Instagram. And so I'm with Steve as far as I like what the players are doing now, because about 3 years ago, I'll be honest, I cried for a game. I was hurt by the Clippers players. You know, when the thing happened with Donald Sterling and he made the statements that he made, and I was like, these guys have a marvelous opportunity on national television. I don't know if you did that game, Marc. Sunday afternoon in Oakland, where the Black Panthers were born, to not play, to not say that we're not going to deal with this, to make a statement, and they played. And that hurt me to the core, you know, that they played. And I actually cried for a game, and there was a white reporter next to me. He's like, what's wrong? I said, I can't believe these guys are playing. So for a couple years later, to see Melo step out there and say what he said, you know, and Kaepernick, a lot of people don't agree with everything Kaepernick did, but his first statement was strong. I do respect what Melo is doing, and players saying more and doing more, Coach Fizdale, because now it doesn't seem like they're scared of how it. I remember one player telling me, well, if we win a championship, then we'll look great, and then we'll make our message. I said, yeah, but his wife will be holding the trophy. You know, so what does that say? But the players now, Melo, I think, leading the front as far as NBA, they don't seem afraid of what they could lose or what people think. They speak out on what they think is wrong, Mike Conley included.
Sure. Coach, when you saw the events this summer, it was quite overwhelming, and you're in a leadership position as coaching your team, and when players are in the locker room and there's a little bit of an undercurrent of what's going on in topically in society, how do you deal with that when you hear them talk about these things, and what's your message? How do you handle that?
I try to open up communication. You know, I want our guys to talk about this stuff. You know, we have a very socially conscious group of young athletes in this country who are very aware, and so I like the fact that they want to talk about it, and I like to engage in the conversations. You know, obviously, you know, Marc documented it in an article about me, but I lived in those circumstances in Los Angeles, and so this isn't new to me. What happened in July, like you guys were talking about before, it's just being captured on a higher scale because everybody has a camera. Then it was a VHS. Yeah. But you know, the Rodney King thing was caught on camera. That was on camera. It's the same thing as now, except it just didn't happen that often. And so I lived through the repercussions of that. And so when these guys want to talk about this stuff, at least I can give them some perspective from a different place. And I like that they want to engage in that stuff. And I try to push them out there to be more than just basketball players. I want them to be seen more as you know, citizens and guys that are leaders in their community. So we have a bunch of guys that really like that role, and it's been fun to be around them.
Is it difficult to